What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Hold Husband Podcast. I'm your host, Terry Duran. I got both of my co-hosts on the line with me tonight. I got my man, Jay Bible in the building. What's good, man?
Not much, man. Look forward to getting to once again another great episode tonight. And I know you say you're petitioning not talking about fantasy. I actually did take an L this week, but hey, gonna play SD this week when we're playing for that number one spot there. But want to quickly remind it, hey, you can subscribe to us on YouTube as well as follow us on TikTok at Hold Husband Podcast. And for those interested in promos or anything, you can shoot us a DM at Hold Husband Podcast, as well as shoot us email at hoetohusbandpodcast@gmail.com. All right, T.
I also got my man SD in the building. What's good with you?
Nothing, man. I told Jay last week I was coming for that number one spot.
Hey, you got it this week.
And now I'm number one. So it is what it is. You got to speak this stuff into existence. That's what the church people say. All right. But first, I want to give a shout out to Brother Soul Production for always keeping the background audio fresh. And I want to remind you all to donate to the Hold a Husband podcast on Cash App and PayPal. All right, T.
I want to remind everybody y'all can catch the audio playback of the podcast every Monday afternoon at thecore94.com. Tonight's episode is titled "Don't Just React." We're having a conversation about emotional control and emotional regulation. So I'm really looking forward to our guest that we have coming on a little bit later. But y'all know how we do around here, man. We like to discuss stuff that we've seen on our timelines or things that have been trending. So we got a couple interesting videos to talk about this week. This first video is a video of a woman that on a podcast is asked to explain how marriage benefits a man. Let's take a listen.
Name one benefit that a man gets from marriage that he wouldn't get in a regular relationship.
Just one.
Well, I think, as a woman, if you're
I'm asking you as a man, since you're, attacking men for being Peter Pan.
I think a lot of men who choose to get married are incentivized by the fact that they are able to claim that woman as theirs. And
but name one benefit that they would get in a marriage that they wouldn't get in a regular relationship.
Well, I think even though it's not 100%, there's peace of mind that woman is going to be loyal to you.
The answer is there's none. You're dancing around it. There is none. So my thing is this. I think it's in a man's best interest to stay Peter Pan, as you would say. And I think women shame men because men gain their value in their 40s. Men understand the sexual marketplace better. They understand that women have no leverage in their 40s. And they date down and they get younger, more attractive girls. And that's the best way to go in today's day and age, where we live in a deregulated sexual marketplace where women could take everything they got, take their kids, etc. Why the hell would a guy want to commit to women nowadays when, honestly, we got whole-flation?
There's obviously more incentive for women to get married than men. Obviously.
Way more.
That's an interesting question, man.
Yep.
We see it was a struggle for it to come up with an answer. And as a married man, there's the only reason I can think of to be married is if you want a family. Is if you want a family unit. Now you don't necessarily have to have kids to be married. There are benefits, legal benefits or legal ramifications that come from being married that you don't get from just being boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever the case may be. But I knew, when I got married at 25, I had the awareness then to understand that if I didn't get married when I was broke and young, it was very likely that I wouldn't get married at all. And so as a man, like he just said, once you get in the bag and once you're making good money, it becomes harder to tell if a woman genuinely likes you or if she's gonna be there if you down. And then your options, they be through the roof. So it's a tough thing to weigh, you still want to be married. What are your reasons for still wanting to get married?
Man, just the companionship and just having a woman to myself, a woman of my own, like in my home and, taking care of home and different things like that. But I will agree that it's a lot harder now that I'm married and now that I'm older, not married, but older and got more things, whether it's financially, homes, properties, those types of things. Like it's tougher for me and not wanting kids. It's tougher for me to actually see these here benefits like that. You know what I'm saying? It's tougher, although I do feel like the companionship of a great woman is a benefit to me because it's something that I want. And having somebody in the home to take care of a home, I feel like that's a benefit for me because it's something that I want. But I also have to be smart and think about the cons of it also, in case it goes bad or different things. That's why I always say I won't get married without a prenup. Absolutely not. And I'm not having any more kids. So therefore I can't have an issue with my money. And then I can't have no kid where I can get put on child support.
Man,
that's just what it is.
Okay. You know what? See, I want to piggyback on something you said, because Abby, and you said this for a long. There's no benefit to getting married unless you want a family and want to have kids. Otherwise, it's not really a benefit. And think about this: as a man, you have all the leverage until you do one or two things. Either you marry somebody or have a child with them. Why is that? Because a lot of these women know once you get married, they have the state behind them. And now, if you get married and have kids, and you decide, or she decides to divorce you, right? There are financial ramifications for her, and she understands that she has the state behind her. And once you say I do, and once that marriage certificate is signed, and y'all names is both on it. So this is a great question. What is the benefit there?
Yeah, I mean, I guess there isn't much difference if you live in a household with somebody and y'all, raising kids or whatnot. The biggest differences come when it comes to legal paperwork, insurance, things of that nature. If something happens to you, you know what I'm saying? Like I work in insurance. A boyfriend and girlfriend living in a house together and their house burned down. If she's living in his house, we ain't paying for none of her stuff. We'll pay for all his belongings and all that, but she's not an insured. She's not his spouse. She's his girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? Like, so there are things like that come into play where your title or your label, being baby mama, if something happens and he's in a coma, his family might not, give you the insurance money he had or give you the assets that he may have, that you may have used while he was alive.
You know what? See, you said this before when you were on the Hardly Initiated podcast. I think this got some women their feelings that, hey, if you were, for any reasons, if you were to divorce your wife, you would not get married again.
Oh, and no.
Simply because of what I said earlier, or what you said, there's no benefit unless you plan to have a family. I mean, I guess unless you're gonna will something away to that woman.
Yeah. So I want to say this, the question was, what benefit does a man get in marriage that he don't get in a relationship? That's the part, like we done left that out of there. And that's the real thing. Like, what can a man get outside of, because really, honestly, I can get the companionship. I can get, a woman that's here, that moves in or whatever, that can take care of a home and do all those things without getting married. So as far as a benefit that you only get with marriage that you can't get in a relationship, I don't see it. I just don't.
You know what, Esty? You raised a great point. Now, you said you have no aspirations of having any kids whatsoever. So why would you want to get married if you have no aspirations of having kids or anything like that?
Man, like I said, man, I want somebody a woman that I can call my own eventually. Like, a girlfriend, you know what I'm saying? She won't carry my last name, nothing like that. I could really, I mean, yeah, she could, tell me, she might, that's my woman at the time. But, and I don't know, it's just something that I want.
Yeah, I mean, getting married makes it official, you know what I'm saying? You have the if you actually have the ceremony where your families come together and all that, so you have different components of it, but outside of cohabitation with a woman, I think the biggest differences come, like I said, when it comes to the legal aspects of it. When it comes to the law, your relationship, as far as insurance and things of that nature go, and primarily, it makes the biggest difference if something goes wrong. You know what I mean? It's risky because if you go into it, like you said, without a prenup, you're putting a lot of your assets at risk.
Absolutely no.
So that would be kind of a crash move.
Right, but you know what? It also depends on the state that you live in, because I know states like California and New York, you actually can contest that prenup and everything. So I think what state you get married in or the state that you live in, that matters as well.
All right, man. Let's keep things rolling, man. This next video, I saw this video a while back, but it was a woman talking about. She's on a podcast and she's explaining how just being a good man is not a good enough reason for a woman to be with her. Let's take a listen.
Sometimes a woman can talk her out of a relationship. You can talk. We do that.
Yes,
we will talk.
I'm gonna say something, and this might ruffle little feathers. I don't think just being a good man is enough to stay in a relationship with them.
But when I say a good man, I mean like he's good. That means all around. That means himself, spiritually, mentally, physically.
That's great.
Healthily, like he's a good man.
That doesn't mean that he's the man for you. And maybe when you're going through these motions of getting to know him, you're realizing, okay, he's a great person, but honestly, I don't fuck with his humor. Like, he could be funny, but he's not funny to me.
And that's why a lot of modern women are getting 40 with 4 cats and no man, because he's a good man, but because he's not funny, you gotta throw that out.
Man, it's interesting when we see these videos where the crash dummy out the clique is the one that wants to share her perspective or grab the mic, because you see I'm not gonna ruffle something. She made it seem like she was about to drop some knowledge and say something that was really thought provoking. Yep. But I think she made herself look really silly and shallow, because just look how the other chick was looking at her like. So you would pass up a quality man just because he wasn't funny. And these are the type of things that
we do it every day.
They make dating decisions like this all the time. I put up a post, what's the dumbest reason you've ever seen a woman curve a guy or break up with a guy? And it was hundreds of comments about the shoes he wore, the color he wore, like some of the dumbest reasons ever women will find to curve a guy or cut a dating situation off.
I'm gonna have to take a survey on that, man, and ask to see what's up. But I mean, personally,
I'll be interested in seeing it too.
Yeah, like but this is why a lot of women deserve less. Like, it is what it is, because they do it to themselves. They do it to themselves, man. Like, a lot of women, and I've said this before, a lot of women know really good dudes. They know really good quality men, but they put them in the friend zone because, like she said, I don't really rock with his humor like that. But guess what? I don't rock with his personality like that, or he don't make this amount of money. But guess what? They'll rock with a dude whose humor they like, that they know is a hoe because he got muscles. They'll rock with a dude who they know is a hoe because he got a little money. They'll overlook, a lot of women overlook red flags that's right in their face for guys that they know are toxic. For guys and scrutinize and look at one of these here good dudes, a good man in enough, under a microscope and cut him off for the boring. Yeah, I done been cut off, man, for some of everything, man. Being light skinned, being thin, whatever the case. I done been cut off for a lot of my birthday being in March. Like my beard not connecting. Like, it's been a lot of different things. They always try to spin the block later, but these here women, man, they set themselves up like that, and it typically happens when women are younger, because when they're younger, they get a lot more attention. They getting a lot more guys coming at them, so they feel like they always got time, and they'll always have that youth and beauty, and men will always be on their bumper. But when they get older, a lot of women change a lot of things, and they.
A lot of these girls absolutely age fast, man. They don't have no workout regimen, so they go from a fine 18 to overweight 22 real quick. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
it happens fast.
I've definitely seen that.
Everybody,
but you know what? You know what? With these women, they'll cut off the good dude for a lot of the most trivial reasons. Like you said, oh, he not funny enough. Oh, he don't do think about this. He can do everything right, and then they'll find one reason to cut him off. Like you said, he ain't funny enough. Oh, his shoes. He don't dress like this. He don't dress like that. He too light. He too dark. And it's this could be the dude that could be your husband, and you could have a healthy match and live a good, productive life.
This is nothing new, man. As long as I can remember talking to girls about dating, women have revealed how dumb their dating decisions are, or the way that their methodology of making dating decisions is. So I'm never shocked or surprised when I see a woman say something that makes no sense whatsoever, because we know they're emotion based. And these guys, a lot of times the good guys, the nerds or whatever, they don't have the skill set to be able to have the charm and the personality. So it makes guys like SD stand out on the dating market, because he have more of the intangibles that women look for.
I got a couple.
You know what they want?
But this is
they don't
like. Go ahead,
SD.
No, but this is the scary part, and I had asked this on a live I did the other day, man, because this don't just happen in the dating world. This happens in marriages too, where these here women will feel different and walk away from a man in these here marriages and with these here families and different things. And this is where it's scary at, because as a man that would like to get married, how do I guard against a woman's feelings changing in 5 years and wanting to walk away with my money or something that's mine? You know what I'm saying? You can't guard against that. That's what's scary for me personally. The feelings things and the feelings changing at the drop of a hat and wanting to walk away, but wants to take the money with her while she goes. That's a problem for me at this age.
You know what? And you're absolutely right there, SD. And the problem here is they'll take a lot of those trivial reasons over actual substance, right? As opposed to having the guy that brings substance, they want a bad boy. They want Mr. Swaggy.
I put up a post this week where I said that I think most guys, when it comes to dating and relationships, they focus on things that they do like about their woman and try to kind of overlook the things that get on their nerves and whatnot. But I think women are kind of the opposite. They focus on the things that they don't like about men, or reasons why they should break up with a guy or cut him off. And I think that's why so many women kind of have this pessimistic view of men and dating, where men are kind of the opposite. Like I said, we'll look at the woman based off, the realistic perspective. What you say, she's an adjustable 6 or something. SD.
Kevin Samuels said that.
Where a chick can upgrade herself by changing her hair, upgrading her makeup or whatnot. I think that's how most guys approach it. We factor that into the equation.
T, quick question. So do you think, like, in this situation, the worst thing a guy could do would be to overlook certain things?
Yeah. Look at it. Whenever the videos go viral, old boy with the NBA, when he married a porn star, what do we say? Man, you know who you married from the jump. So that's why guys shouldn't rush the process. You should let it happen organically. You should be able to see a woman in several different settings and situations. You should be able to see how she handles crisis, how she handles feeling angry or feeling disrespected or whatnot, because those are all how she treats others. All those type of things come into play, because if that's the person that you build in your lifestyle with, or your household and your family with, then all your relationships, she's gonna kind of come in touch with them some type of way. You having a function at your house, you bringing her to your work event or whatever the case may be. All of that is important. So, who you choose to marry or have kids with is always going to be a very crucial decision.
Yeah, but you got to be a special type of dummy to marry a chick that had a 62 guy gangbang. She had a 62 guy gangbang on camera, and you gonna go marry her?
Bro, she been in over 50. She been about 50 porn videos, man.
Come on, man.
Like
man,
bro.
Did y'all see the word? She been doing interviews since where she was talking about her body count's low because the ones for porn don't.
She said some of those on count. Yo, she really came out there and said, "Oh, the ones I did those in the porn videos don't count." But the one that
don't count when everybody can see.
Exactly. But yo, the one she did with Canva, that was funny though. I ain't even gonna hold you.
37, the 37 cream pies. The 37 cream pies she got on camera don't count. Yeah, all right.
Her name was Yasmin Penn Davis on film. That's all you need to know right there.
Man.
Yeah, man. You know, but that's always gonna be an important thing. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why guys, we talk about, you know, being careful, having dick discipline and things of that nature, because, you know, a few seconds of pleasure can be something that change your life. You know what I'm saying? You have a child or you have to deal with a woman forever.
Absolutely.
And it's something that you don't, there's no way to really quantify it up front, but you never know how much money you're going to end up spending having a child. Like SD said, like he's taking the precautions, got the vasectomy and all that to make sure that he don't just slip up. But man, these dudes out here is just randomly shooting up the club and having random babies out here, man. That's so irresponsible. And that's why it's especially irresponsible for a man that has money or has some assets.
But you know what, T? Those guys just shooting in the club, those are guys that are not responsible, because any guy that has something to lose is not going to just do that.
You would think. I mean, but it's
you would think
in
that,
the heat
but
of the moment,
sometimes NFL players
out here, man. They crazy.
They make a certain amount, or they up right now. There's plenty of dudes that don't think long term. They drunk, they high, they you know, under the influence, where they make these decisions that end up coming back to bite them in the end. So how you move as a man, the positions you put yourself in, all that type of stuff matters, because, you know, any situation you can go to a party that could easily get turned into a rape accusation, you know what I'm saying, or something like that. So how you move and what you do has always mattered. And I think as Black boys in America, we had to learn that reality very early on. And it's something that you have to always be cognizant of, even as an adult. Man, it looked like we up against the clock. We about to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be getting into our topic of the night. Don't just react, where we're talking about emotional control and emotional regulation. Y'all are tuned into the Hold a Husband podcast. Y'all will be back in a minute. Hi, I'm relationship coach and author Terry Duran, and I am pleased to announce that my book, It's Not That Complicated, is finally available as an audiobook. So if you don't like to read, or you just don't have time to read a paperback book, this audiobook is perfect for you. You can listen to it while you're in your car, while you're at work, etc. In the book, I break down how husband material men think and operate in regards to sex, love, and relationships, and I provide real quality insight on how husband material men approach dating. The audiobook is available on audible.com and on iTunes. All you have to do is go to one of the websites and search for my name, Terry Duran. Go download your copy today. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Hold a Husband podcast. We have our special guest on for the night. We have Mike Bey. How you doing, Mickey?
I'm doing great. How are you all?
We're doing excited, anxious to chop it up with you and get some of your expertise. But before we get into the conversation, can you let the viewers know a little bit about you, your background, etc.?
Sure. My name is Mike Bey. I'm a life and relationship coach. I specialize in emotional regulation. So we're going to get into it today.
All right. Absolutely. So tonight's episode is titled Don't Just React. And we wanted to have an in-depth conversation about emotional control, emotional maturity, and why it's such an important thing for men and women to have in order to have healthy relationships. What made you go into to specifically focusing on emotional regulation?
what made me go into emotional regulation is I needed it.
That's so good.
I think sometimes when you're a passionate person, that passion can bleed over the line of this is acceptable in certain areas, right? Because you get so passionate, and sometimes that comes out as anger. Sometimes that comes out in ways that people really don't respond well to. And so for me, it was about wanting to be in a place where I could communicate well, especially with my husband. And I had to figure out how to communicate with him in a way that didn't take me out of my body, right? So when conflict occurred, it was really about me figuring out, okay, why am I so upset? And why am I unable to calm down? And that really led me to finding emotional regulation. And it's such a game changer. I've been coaching for 7 years, but I just started doing emotional regulation in the last 2.5 years. And it has transformed my life in such a way that all of my clients, no matter what they come to me for, will learn emotional regulation.
Oh, great.
So was that like putting a strain on your marriage because of how you would react to certain things?
Yes, because my husband is a very calm, introverted guy, and I'm the rah-rah. So to really, and when you're next to somebody who's calm, you really see your personality, right? Because when we would be in conflict, he would literally be just kind of stoic, and that would upset me because I'm like, why are you not reacting? Like, you're supposed to be reacting to me. And that's the only way I knew at the time. So the fact that he was the first, exactly. He was the first lover I had as an adult who was emotionally healthy. And so it really made a difference when I came in trying to do what I'd always done in my relationship. So when I pop off, usually men are going to be like, oh, well, what's going on here? Let me, get back on the right side of her. And he just didn't do that. So I was like, okay, well, this is not working. And I'm just feeling bad. So I'm going to have to figure out how to regulate myself. And it has been a complete game changer in our marriage.
Did you got therapy or how did you actually go about, regulating yourself? And was the only issue that you had was just like you going off, or what exactly were the behaviors that you need to regulate?
So I come from a violent upbringing. I'm from Detroit. My parents had a very volatile relationship. And so the interpersonal relationships I saw growing up were not healthy. And even though I didn't follow in those footsteps, like I never had any domestic violence or anything like that, still some of that got on the inside of me, and I was angry. I had this anger that was in me. And the thing about anger is that eventually you're going to implode or explode. So energy is going to be expressed. And for me, I started to see as I got older that anger would bubble up, and it would feel like I was literally having an out-of-body experience. And nothing like a love relationship can take you, to the other side of yourself real quick. And so when I got married at 32. And I thought I had under control. And when I got married, I saw certain parts of myself that I just was like, wow, if this is who I am, I need to really get a hold on that, because I don't want the person I love the most to view me as the villain in his story. I really want us to be partners. And I knew that it was going to take me getting control of the anger and start asking myself questions about that anger. Because the thing about emotions is that we're all capable of having every emotion. And there's no emotion that is good or bad. It's just about if we are going to express it or suppress it. And when we suppress it, eventually it gets to a point where it's either, like I said, going to implode or explode. So imploding is when you get diseases and you start getting, stress, illnesses, high blood pressure, those types of things. And then exploding is when somebody cuts you off and now you banging on their window. Right? So that's not where I wanted to be. I wanted to have a healthy relationship with my husband. And I also knew that just from my upbringing, that if I didn't get a hold on it, I'm gonna revert to nature. Right? I'm gonna revert to what I saw and what
that's what most people do.
Yep.
Exactly. So for me, it was a combination of self-awareness, therapy as well. I'm a big proponent in therapy. I'm a life coach. And I knew that I needed support in figuring this out for myself. And once I got down the rabbit hole of emotional regulation, it was just no turning back.
Wow.
So was it his demeanor that helped you see yourself and made you kind of want to change because of how he didn't react to you while you were going through your toxicness?
My toxicness. You know what? I'm going to say yes, because like I said, all of my other partners previously were toxic right with me, right? So, I can remember being in college and my college boyfriend in an argument threw my keys in a vacant field to my car. Wow. My car and my house keys in a vacant field. And this was an argument that we were having, right? So I'm used to someone having some type of overt reaction to conflict.
Were you trying to elicit, when you were arguing with your husband or anything, did you try to elicit an emotion? Like you were trying to do anything?
Absolutely. Yeah. Because nobody wants to be toxic by themselves, right?
Oh, man.
The more calm he was, the more it upset me. Right?
Wow.
Because I think as a woman, it reads indifference.
Mm-hmm.
It reads, I don't care about you. And at that particular moment, I was not able to see that as him loving me in that moment.
Yeah. I think a lot of women do that. They misinterpret male behavior. And a lot of times it's because they view the things men say and do based off of a female value system. Because on my page, one of the things that I try to teach women is that one of the main things that you can tell that a man loves you is he put up with more shit from you than he'll put up with from anybody else. Like that is a man showing that he loves you, because he's willing to use his resources to make up for your shortcomings. He's willing to find workarounds or make adjustments to cater to your quirkiness or the things that he takes issue with. But oftentimes that goes overlooked. And a lot of women don't have the self-awareness like you did to realize, whoa, this is a serious problem that I need to get in control if I want my marriage to survive.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you know what? This here is why it's so important for men to know how to lead properly when they get into relationships, right? Because his demeanor and how he is taught her how she should be, right? So it's like me. I don't like a woman cussing at me personally in my own personal dating life, right? And so how I combat that when I do meet a woman that's used to cursing at a man is that when she does it, I say, hey, hold on, wait a minute now. I don't curse at you. So I would appreciate it if you don't curse at me. It's me leading by the example that I'm setting. And that example eventually either it's going to wear off on her and she's going to adjust to it, or she got to go. It's one of those two things, right? So, but as a man, you have to lead by example, not just with your words on certain things. When you want to be treated a certain way, or you want a certain demeanor in your household, whatever it is, you have to be that way, and everybody else will follow your lead in that aspect. So, kudos to him.
No doubt.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that, SD, because leadership, a lot of times on social media, it has a negative connotation. It's controlling. It's trying, like a man trying to get you to understand what the boundaries are for the relationship to keep things in a healthy space. That's what you should be looking for.
Absolutely.
Because men that are quality men and are actually husband material, you got a limited amount of rope. He's only going to tolerate so much because he don't have to put up with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not the bum that needs you for your car because he ain't got nowhere to go. Like, those aren't the type of men that women actually want to be with. So if you actually have a solid man that has a solid career and lives a decent lifestyle, it's in your best interest to make changes, even if they're significant changes, if they're put you in a position to have long-term success.
Yeah, and real quick, let me just throw this in here real fast. The control, I knew you threw that in there. And for me personally, there has to be a certain level of control, but not like let me move you like a chess piece, right? And make you do something. Not like that. But like just with your wisdom and your knowledge and the way that you do certain things, that a woman, your kid, whatever, she see the sense in it and the wisdom in it, and be like, you know what, I need to make a change according to this here because it only makes sense. Like, that's just what it is. It's not me controlling, or a man controlling you like a chess piece or a video game, doing it like that. It's just through the knowledge and wisdom that he has a certain level of authority or control over his household as a man. It is what it is.
True.
I think it's important that you guys also understand, when you say the word control, you automatically gonna get our ears to shut up. So I know what you mean when you say that, but a woman who is in her feminine energy and you show up in your masculine is going to willingly be the helpmate, is going to willingly follow your lead, and is not going to question that. It's really when men are not in their masculine and men are not able to lead a strong woman, that's when you get into the issues of trying to control her. She doesn't need to be controlled. And to your point about setting the example, my husband did that exact same thing. I was used to cursing at men, and I'm ashamed of that now. And one of the things that I say to anyone who ever asks me, I say, I am so happy I married the best man I've ever dated. And my husband treats me the best of anyone that I've ever been with.
That's what's up.
That is not my doing. That was not my doing. That's who he is. And so I say that to say, I showed up 8 years ago having never felt safe and secure in a man's presence, not even my father. And so you're asking a lot of women, especially if we're talking about Black women, you want to ask us to submit blindly, and that ain't gonna happen.
I don't think it's blindly. It's not blindly, because by the time you get to that, she's had plenty of opportunities to see his decision making, his demeanor, his value system, the respect that he gives and gets from others. Nobody's telling women to just blindly make that decision. Who a woman is letting, take her to Pound Town is essentially one of the most important decisions she has to make as a woman. So that should never be done.
Well, what I mean by blindly is that there are a lot of men who have that expectation, but they're not really showing up in the demeanor and in the stance that is going to put a woman in position to follow your leadership. That's not if you don't get this just because you're a male gender.
What is that?
I agree.
What is that?
Yeah, I agree with
what is that? He don't get what?
You don't get a woman who is going to come in and just be like, this makes sense. Because what you said previously was, she's going to see that this is the logical thing to do, and this is your wisdom, and all of that coming together. Women don't think like that. We're emotional.
I think a big problem that modern women have is because they try to monetize dating or monetize relationships, where they only care about what a man can give them financially, or how what a man does for them can benefit them financially. How can a woman with that kind of mindset ever come to the level of self-awareness that you managed to reach?
This is a very controversial subject. And what I'm going to say is that I don't know that self-awareness is the thing that they need. I think they're very self-aware to know that they want to monetize their dating. I think that if there's a woman who has decided that her time and her beauty and whatever else she wants to, give to this man has a monetary amount attached to it, she's very self-aware. She's clear. She's clear. So I don't know that self-awareness is what she needs. I think she needs to match up with someone who's in alignment with that. And there are men every day who are in alignment with paying for her time, her beauty, and her energy.
Of course, they're called John
every day.
They call John. That's what they call.
They're called
John, and they call hoes. You got hoes, you got John. Prostitutes and John.
I'm here to tell you that there's some regular 9-to-5 men out here paying multiple rents and mortgages and car notes and all of that for the affection of a beautiful woman. I mean, this is the oldest
for the sex.
Oldest profession in the world. Yeah.
Yep.
I guess my issue with that, the way it was asked, is that it puts the fault on the woman for monetizing what she values, right? And
I didn't mean it from that perspective. What I'm talking about is you came to the realization that your behavior and your mentality was the problem that was eventually going to possibly end your relationship. A woman that views a man as a transaction is just going to be transaction based. She's not going to really be caring about her feelings as long as she's getting the cash after, she's getting the gifts or whatever the case may be. So I was just trying to ask, how can a woman who's focused on the materialistic or the financial aspect of a man ever get to the point where she actually cares about what he thinks and feels like you seem to?
She has to want that. I don't think those things are mutually exclusive. I think that you can be a woman who is about your money first and still care. I don't think that just because this woman has decided that her whatever she's bringing to the table is worth something monetarily, that automatically means that she's not going to get what she wants. I think the issue that I have with that is that men go for money and success to attract women. So then when the woman is attracted to what you've been working your whole life to get, this type of woman, because you weren't doing it for other men, right?
Absolutely not.
You're doing it for the access to a certain level of woman.
To a degree. I think most guys that are not rich or wealthy and have 9-to-5s or whatnot, they work, or their goal is to reach a certain level to where they can provide a certain lifestyle for themselves and their family. It only becomes a problem when, household and all that type of stuff. But the way that they, with the conversations that we see on social media and whatnot, it's a problem when that's all it's about, and the woman's expectations are not realistic. She's expecting her boyfriend to treat her like Cardi B treat. Oh, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like they compare themselves to superstars and realities, and they're not concerned with a solid lifestyle that a guy in their local area could provide. That's when it becomes a problem, because a woman that's unrealistic is unlikely to ever get a celebrity that wants to marry her.
Terry, I just want to piggyback off your point real quickly. Yeah, about men getting their lifestyle, getting their money up to support a certain lifestyle, support their own lifestyle, right? I think the women are a side effect of that more so. They're not necessarily doing it solely for the women. They want a certain woman, but that's more of a side effect of their success, in my opinion there.
I have dated 1 million high value men.
Okay.
And what I will say is that there are levels to what you're talking about. If I'm the type of woman who can get someone to buy me a home, that's different than you cash apping me $500. The level, right? So what I'm saying here is, there's a chick that's getting a cash app from a guy who's working a 9-to-5, who's very happy to give her that cash app for whatever she needs it for. And then there's also a guy like Offset, right? Who wants to, or I read an article today about T.I. saying that he doesn't care how much money Tiny makes. Her money is hers.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? So, again, I think it's about alignment. If you are in the dating pool, you need to be aligned with someone who values what you value. If I value,
but I think that's the problem. So if a woman, by what you just said, align with the guy who has the finances to be able to just fund a luxury lifestyle, that's the problem. What percentage of men? What percentage of men actually fit that criteria compared to the amount of women that want it? Like telling women to just.
This is where, you know, it becomes the battle of the sexes. I got 3 men over here who don't know what they talk about on this one. Because listen, again, there's nothing wrong with her inherently wanting that. She's going to be at the level that she can be at regardless. So if I'm a Cardi B, I'm in the room with Offset. If I'm a nurse, I'm in the room with doctors, right? So I think that the levels that we're talking about here are different. Now you're basically saying this is a woman who thinks she deserves more than her level.
Right.
And therefore she's going to end up single because she's expecting people who are on her level to do.
Or either single or dissatisfied with a quality dude. Like there are women that. Okay.
I mean, that's the risk she's taking. She's willing. This is what I'm saying. Your initial question was, how can she become more self-aware? I think a woman that says, I value this above all other things that a man can provide for me, no matter what level she's dating at, she's clear on what her priorities are from a dating. I think men who feel that they are inadequate in the financial arena typically take it at, if this is a woman that you'd like to pursue and she's asking for something you can't provide.
These last couple seconds you were going in and out. We didn't really catch the tail end of what you were saying. I heard you were saying something about.
So I said, go ahead.
I don't know. It looks like we're having some issues with the connection. Man, I really hate when that happens. This is a really good conversation. It's really interesting whenever we get to talk about the finances in relationships. But like I said, I think women can want whatever they want, but I think a lot of the things that a lot of women want today decrease their viable options so much that it makes it almost virtually impossible for them to ever actually accomplish their goals. I hate that we had to end the interview a little prematurely.
I'm here. Can y'all hear me?
Okay.
I can hear you.
I thought we had lost you. You froze and everything on my end. I'm
here.
I want to hear that point again. The way you were saying about the men, like the men that couldn't like do it or something, like for the woman having
adequate enough to provide for them. I think you said
in and out.
Correct.
Yeah.
So for a man, if I want to get with a woman as a man, and I'm at a certain financial place, and this woman that I'm interested in has a different standard that I cannot provide, what that reads to him is I'm inadequate, I'm not enough. And that's not going to work in a relationship. And so you're doomed from the beginning because this man knows that he is unable to provide to the standard that this particular woman is required. So it's not about her requirement. It's not about her requirement.
So let me ask you, do you
go ahead, Steve.
Do you think that any of the women out here that are dating and wanting these here particular things from men, do you think any of them are unrealistic with what they are asking? Compared to who they are out here?
Plenty. But y'all are delusional too. So
of course, we're not talking. I understand.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm not saying that men aren't. But right now, we're talking about women and wanting the transactional
100%
relationships from men. So when we talk about it, like when it was mentioned that some women can be a certain way, or Terry said, yeah, she's asking for too much above her level. It's put back on the men as if like it's all men, like. They have a problem with it because they just can't afford it, because they ain't got it. It's not, oh, well, yeah, some of these women are being unrealistic for who they are. They might want what they want, but they aren't in tune with who they are in the dating market a lot of times. You can be emotionally there and want whatever it is that you think you deserve out here. But are you in tune with the dating market and what you have to offer, the type of man that you're saying that you want? Because if you were, you wouldn't be 40 years old still searching for this unicorn of a man that you say you want. So it's on both sides, where the women are unrealistic and shooting above their pay grade for the types of man that they want. And it's also on, the men too, some of the men that don't have it and are upset about it. Like, it ain't just, the men are upset because they ain't got it, so they upset at these women. No, some of these women are horrible, for lack of better words. Like, it is what it is. You don't deserve a six-figure man.
Right.
I totally hear your argument, and I agree with you. I just think that this comes down to women are programmed for this. This is not a new thing. We're programmed to seek safety and security.
Okay,
so
gotcha.
and in society, we are programmed from a young age and socialized from a young age to want to be taken care of. Every girl who wants to be a wife typically has a fairy tale in her mind. So let life be the teacher. If she's above her pay grade, right, she gonna find out.
Cinderella.
Yeah, she's gonna find out. But also, she's only above her pay grade until she finds a buyer for what she's selling.
Gotcha. Most of them not finding that though.
No,
most of them not finding that.
But the statistics say, half of Black women will never marry.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Quick.
So
hold on, Jay. Hold on, Jay.
Go ahead.
Half of Black women will never marry, and we know that statistic, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at that, to me, they have made their peace that I want this or nothing. That's what I think y'all are not getting. They have already decided. Yeah, I think they have.
Well, that that ain't what they say when they go viral. When they talking about how they want to be loved and how they wish they had operated differently. But I definitely can understand.
Hindsight is always 2020. Hindsight is always 2020.
Absolutely.
When you 60 or 70, that's easy to say. I made peace with it. Ain't no 35, 40-year-old women out here talking about I make peace with that. Like, ain't no, they are not.
I think that they're, when I say peace, they are making peace with the hope. They still think it's a shot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I know of one woman who got married at 45 to her Prince Charming, in my mind, if I'm 40, I'm thinking it can still happen.
Yeah. Gotcha. We're gonna have to bring you back on, man. This
absolutely.
We can go on and on with this. Yeah, we have to rearrange some more time. I'm sorry, we are gonna have to cut the interview a little bit short. Before we get up out of here, I want you to can you let the audience know how they can get in contact with you and your content?
Absolutely. I am at Get Mickey Bey on all platforms. That's GETMIKKIBEY. And my website is also getmickeyBey.com.
Okay. Before we get up out of here, man, I want to give another shout out to my man, Brother Soul Productions, for keeping us laced with our background audio. I want to remind y'all to continue supporting the podcast through your Cash App and our PayPal. JSD, man, I appreciate y'all linking up and putting that so we can get this episode knocked out. This was a really enjoyable conversation, and we're definitely going to link up again. Again, Mickey, we appreciate you coming on.
Thank you for having me.
This has been another episode of the Hold a Husband podcast, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.